Oh my goodness, look at that. Pat has a portrait. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and today we're doing something a little bit strange. I'm going to be doodling a portrait of Pat right here, this fun, pretty ugly monster doll. And I did 31 of these little cards looking at Pinterest. So I want to show you, if you don't have any dolls specifically to draw from, I did a search on Pinterest for ugly monster dolls. See right here, ugly monster dolls. And this is what came up. And there's hundreds and hundreds of monster dolls. Looking at these will give you ideas for body shapes, for facial features, for arms, legs, for how to decorate, different fabrics to draw, to make your own fun ugly monster doll. I'm going to be looking at this ugly monster doll right here. This is Pat that I just made. Pat just was born on the 17th of October. Jean, their best friend, was born on October 15th. I'm not going to sew one. I am going to draw it. I'm going to be using a piece of a watercolor card here. I am going to be using a black, this is a Uniball Signo RT1 black. It is the UMN 155-28. So it's a really nice, fine tip. For me, I like to draw first and then put watercolor in. Do whatever makes you happy. To start off with on doing this, now I'm going to start off here first with getting a general head shape. Sort of a squishy lemony shape. Now look at this. I do not have room for my ears to go as tall as they would be. They would be somewhere up here. That's okay. These are ugly monster dolls, and I can make my ears a little bit different. They don't have to be exactly the same. Look at that. Now the body is sort of a long, skinny rectangle-ish. Comes down, across, and back up. Yep. I'm noticing, my arms are actually coming out from the sides like this. And the legs are long, skinny rectangles. Oh, I'm just making that one kind of going behind, sort of more like that. So now we've got the basic outline. I am going to be doodling. I am doodling this. You notice it is not hard. Anybody can draw this. Yes, you can. So looking at this, I'm going to be doing more specifically the things that are on this doll, just so that you can get an idea of how those things work. So the legs down here, they're striped, and there's a kind of like a thicker stripe, and then there's some thin stripes. So I'm going to put my thick stripe going up. And when I paint this or color it, because you can color with just colored pencil, I'm making designs that are going to be going into a coloring book of Pretty Ugly Monsters. So, I don't like the shape of that leg, but since this has up and down stripes on it, it doesn't matter, because you can just add an extra line. And this is a plaid. So I'm going to give it kind of a plaid line look. You know, nothing is set in stone, and nothing needs to be perfect. These guys are wonky, and that's what I absolutely love here. I'm going to go ahead and put a skinny line. What I love is that you're doodling fabric. Doodling fabrics gives you so much latitude for your colors, for your, for the patterns. So here we go. This one is sort of a basket weave, and that I kind of start in the middle for a basket weave, and I put a line up, 2 lines up and down, and then a line across, and then 2 lines up and down, and then a line across, and a line across, and 2 lines up and down. 2 lines up and down, a line across, 2 lines up and down. Kind of matching my lines, you know? See? So 2 lines across, 2 lines up and down, 2 lines across. And then here you're going to do up and down and across, up and down. Look how that worked out. This is just drawing the fabric that I see, though. I could have done polka dots. I don't have to do exactly what the fabric is. I could do anything I want. So, my fabric and your fabric could be totally different, and that's okay. And this other arm over here is just sort of little swirls. I'm just going to do swirls like that. Kind of like little vines. And there you go. That's all that needed. When I'm looking at this, I'm going, what's the thing that's on top? Well, I've got a button on top right here, but mostly the collar is on top of the dress or shirt. These could be shorts. These could be a skirt. It's up to your imagination to decide what they are. But the thing that I notice first is that this collar is on top. So I want that collar on top, and then I will put on the button, and then I'm going to put these other buttons on. This one, little flower button, and another circle. All right. By doing that, now I can get the width of okay, the shorts are going to be really short. Or the bottom of the skirt. I forgot to put that line across, didn't I? Oh well. Nobody's going to know if this is, exactly what the doll looked like. All of the other fabrics were layered up here, like that. So we're still building. We're still building the doll. I'm looking here. I know that this is a big square button and a round button, like that. And over here, we have way over to the side, kind of high. We've got a big circle, and then a button, and then a button. The nose kind of comes down like this. And then the mouth is sort of off to the side. And there are two big buck teeth. So I'm going to put those on like that. Okay, in the ears you have kind of a crease. So I'm going to put the crease in first, like that. And then I'm going to just sort of do an inner line. This is for that fabric lining that's on the inner edge of those ears. This is just making me giggle. Oh my goodness. So these buttons here, I just do 2 dots and a line to attach the buttons. I am going to, this is actually checkered in here. Some of this is going to be a little confusing until I put color on. So I'm putting up and down stripes with the buttons. Like that. There was stitching along that, and I'm going to put my stitches going across sideways. These were hand stitched 100%. Sometimes my stitches were close to each other, sometimes they were far apart. Nobody can tell you that you're doing it wrong. The next layer of fabric sticking out actually was frayed on the edges, so I'm going to put like little fringe. This fabric is being held in place by the stitching of that one on top. Little doodles. As you build the detail, you build the personality of your character. So then there's another fabric that's on the outside to the inside here. There's this fabric here, there's that fabric there. Oh, I want to put a little bit of some detail on my buttons. So I'm putting sort of a little outline on just one side, like that. Bounces those buttons up like this, and then put that little detail around it. Even though it's being done with a pen only, you can refine things as you're going along. You could draw this with a pencil. Don't be so drilled in that she's doing it with just a pen. I have to do it with just a pen, but I'm afraid to do it with just a pen, so I won't even do it. Stop. Just go grab a pencil and an eraser if that makes you happy. I am looking here, and this collar is made with a sort of a gingham floral, not a gingham, what is that? A calico floral. I'm just going to do some little swirl roses, just like that, little swirls. Have some going off the edge of it, up to the edge, and then you just stop. And then I'm going to put stems, and the stems are going to stick out different directions. And so there might be a stem coming down. without a rose or without a flower. Ha ha ha, that worked, that worked. All right, get that one on there. Let's just put the swirls in first. That seems to work. Put the swirls in first. Just little swirlies. You can just swirl right over the top of them. Make some more detail. Maybe I'll do that. Give those an opposite swirl going into them. Oh yeah, that makes it. That makes it. All right. Get those stems on. Totally random. Not worried about making these perfect. So there we go. Oh, that's so cute. Now in the ears up here, this is kind of a funky leaf pattern. I thought it was really, really pretty. I'm not a super fan of purple, but I really like this kind of leaf pattern thing that was going on. So there. Leaf pattern. And this was just a sort of a texture fabric. So I'm just putting a little texture on it. And the stitching, I'm going to go ahead and put black stitching. It was actually a blanket stitch, but I'm just going to do sort of the legs of the blanket stitch. There we go. Just doodling that on. Oh, wow. Now the body on this was, the whole body on this was actually that sort of cream colored fabric that my friend Liz gave me. Actually, a lot of the fabrics involved in this were scraps that Liz had given me. Felt really, really fortunate to have that. This one right here, I'm going to do, even though I did kind of a whip stitch, I'm going to do a running stitch on this one, running around in that fabric. So there we go. Now something that I haven't done on my real dolls yet, but that I've been doing on all of my drawings is I'm putting a little tag and then putting my initials, SB. So see how I just do it on the edge where it would be like sewn in on a seam. Those need to have their extra little line just around one side, like that. And these teeth were actually embroidered on, and the lips were little cross stitches, little X's holding the lip on. Adds to that slightly creepy feeling without it being too creepy, you know? Oh, and then I did a sort of a zigzag, hand-stitched zigzag to hold that collar on. And I didn't do it on the doll, but I think I am going to go ahead and put a little sort of a stitch line around the head and along the neck I'm going to go ahead and put some color on here. I'm just going to show the color going on in snips. It's not a lesson on how to color your art doll. Color your art doll however you want. Colored pencils, watercolor, crayon, squash, whatever makes you happy. But oh my goodness, look at that. Pat has a portrait. I love it. Oops. Oh well, guess what? You do it once, it's a mistake. You do it multiple times, it's a design feature. I dropped my brush, it had green paint on it, so it became grass down here at the bottom. Let's just really make sure that it's acknowledged as greenery that got put on purpose. All right, a few little details. I think I'm going to put some few little grassy details in here. And we'll put just a tiny dot like that. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think I'm going to put a tiny little blush on the cheeks. Not because it's there, but because I want it. Little tip of the nose. Oh my goodness. Look at that. A portrait of Pat. I think that that is well worth the time it took. Total, start to finish, was 1 hour. Drawing, doodling, patterns, watercolor, color choices, changing my mind, doing some more things. But oh my goodness. So you can definitely tell that I drew this specifically from this doll. But you don't have to. Go wild. Find tons of different ideas and draw up your own really creative Pretty Ugly Monsters. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. And by leaving a comment down below, I do have a Patreon. If you want to get advance copies of some of these images to do your own coloring with, I am putting coloring pages up on my Patreon. Come hang out with us. We're a really fun group. And I appreciate every person who has signed up as a patron over on Patreon. Thank you so much. Remember, go out, do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I want to see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.